Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be working on mounting up this radiator along with mounting the B&M ratchet shifter in the truck. Stay tuned. So to get this radiator mount started, I went ahead and had these brackets made. These are going to wrap around the 1.5 inch OD tube. Also went ahead and had these made. These will be plates so we can run our shifter tube up, across, and back down to give us a nice shape, just like we did for the radiator support, but obviously much larger, or smaller I should say. This will be the plate we'll weld it to, bolt through the floor. May have to make another set of these, so that way maybe we can sandwich the metal on the tunnel. And then, like I said, these brackets here, we need to set this radiator in from this tube. So these brackets were made to wrap around that, and then we need to square them up going from the front to back. And that should give us, I believe, probably 3/16 to 1/4 inch on each side between the tank and this mount down here. We do need to get some aluminum. I am not good at TIG welding aluminum or anything for that matter. So we need to find something, see if we can chicken scratch on some flat tabs coming off, you know, down towards the bottom and maybe 2/3 the way up. This side we're going to have to make sure we stay below where this bumps out for this filler neck. And then we can get these welded on here, those tigged on, and have the radiator mounted and in there for good. Okay, so real quick, what I'm doing here is I clamped a bar in here. That way I have the height of where I want them to be. This is level off of this top tube here. Went ahead and leveled it off of that so they'll both be the same. Now these brackets were made that the back edge of this plate here will match up to the front edge of this tube, which obviously this is laying across it, so that'll be this edge. So long story short, I can take these brackets here, wrap them around the tube, and to make sure that this is going straight, I can just use this back edge and line it up with the bar here. And then I just need to make sure they're leveled the other direction, and then we can go ahead and tack those in there. So let's go ahead and tack this side and the driver's side, and then we'll determine how high we can go off the side of this radiator for our upper mount, and then we'll get those tacked in as well, get some aluminum, and get this thing mounted up. Okay, so as you've seen in those last clips, we got our beautiful welds down. They're good enough for what they're doing. And we also did not weld the bottom side of any of these. I think I'm going to add an actual piece. They really don't have a lot of give, but I do believe with this radiator hanging off of there, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I'll just add a piece of 11 gauge or 1/8 inch under the bottom side here, just a bar coming out so far. We'll weld that on the bottom side when we do that. Otherwise, that's it for the radiator. Now we need to get some aluminum so we can weld to the side of the radiator at those dimensions. I think I'm going to keep it off where I have those blocks. They're roughly about 1.5 inches off the bottom. So now we can head over and see if we can find some aluminum at my brother's shop and see if we can either weld to the side of this radiator or ruin the side of this radiator, one or the other. So let's get to it. Alright, so inside the truck here, I apologize I didn't record anything because I really didn't think this was actually going to work. I had this piece here that was bent 90 degrees just sitting around, and I used those plates that I had, went ahead and I only drilled one hole at this point and then one hole up there, but this bar is absolutely solid in here. So now I think that's just how I'm going to leave it, to be honest with you, and then I'll just get a plate made for on top of here to get the shifter mounted, and this should be somewhat the ideal height and location of where I want it. And we'll just put some nuts on the bottom side of whatever plate we welded the top of this plate or pipe here, and that should be mounted. And as you can tell here, we got the shifter mounting plate cut out there to match the profile of the shifter here. So all those bolt holes should line up there. We got 4 of those. So now we'll take this plate and we'll weld this on side the tube, and hopefully there'll be enough room to put nuts on the bottom side. You know, obviously with having the round part of the tube should give us some clearance. And also went ahead and cut out some of these, just so, again, I think I explained we can add these to the bottom of this tube and just run something out there to give it a little bit of stabilization from pushing down. I mean, they do have a little bit of flex in them, but that should take care of that issue on all 4 of those. So let's continue to work forward. As you can see, we got the shifter mounted here. Went ahead and actually welded that plate on, added a gusset down there, welded that on so that way, this is only 11 gauge material, didn't want that bowing. So we have the shifter in, good to go. It does have a reverse lockout on it. So that's all done. So now we need to go on the underside and hook up the cable so that can be done as well. Alright, so here now with the radiator support, as you can see, these are the pieces that I made. This is upside down, so this will be the bottom side. I welded this in on both sides across there to strengthen up that plate. Went ahead and did all 4 of those. Got that all welded in, so now this is good to go. I'm not going to paint it yet, but I do want to go ahead. I got some angle bracket pieces here from my brother's shop. We need to cut them down to just under 3 inches. It's got extra holes we don't need, but that's all right. We'll drill in what we need. If we need to do something with those, we can. Let's cut these down, clean them up a little bit, and figure out where they need to go on that radiator so we can go ahead and either weld them on or screw the radiator up, one or the other. Alright guys, that's going to be a wrap for today's video. Appreciate you following along with us on the build for the 67 F100. As you can see, we did get the radiator actually with the mounts welded to them. They're some pretty shoddy welds, but you know what? I never was a TIG welding person, nor do I really plan to be, but they'll hold. So now we just need to get some type of rubber material to put between here and the mount that it's going on, and then we can actually go ahead and finish putting on the front clip. I've got this fender just hung here off the 2 bolts back there, so that way we can figure out this tube coming from here and coming across to the fender, which will hold the grill and everything else. I do believe that this tube is actually going to have to zigzag back a little bit, but we'll figure that out in the next one. Also, we need to get the transmission cable and a few other things wrapped up so that way we can have this transmission finalized with the B&M ratchet shifter. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be everything. Got a couple more bolts to put into the shifter bracket down there. But again, just want to thank everyone for watching. Like I said, sticking along with us. If you haven't already, subscribe, turn on notifications. We appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.